on different companies that we've taught this principle to, and we're going to analyze those and look at whether or not they met the criteria. So the first one is Joe from a company down in Texas on extension cords. So let's roll the tape.
Hey guys, it's Joe Donnarummo and Jason Becker here with a 2-second lean video for Limbeck. A few weeks ago, Jason and I challenged our field guys to come up and fix something that bugs them. Have them identify some waste in their daily activities and find a way to eliminate that waste. Our guys thought about it for a couple of days and they came back to us and says, Joe, first one out of the box we can think of is the extension cords. I said, okay, well tell me what your problem is. Tell me what the waste is. They said, well, every time we need to come in and get an extension cord, we got to come into the gang box, we got to remove the tools, we got to get in, find the cord we want, put the tools back in, and get back to work. Okay. So I said, okay. So it sounds like you're wasting a lot of time coming in, pulling the tools out, getting the cord you want, putting the tools back, and getting back to work. And they said, exactly. So we sat down, and I said, well, let's do a mock run. Let's run through it. So we did that. We sat down. We got the timer out. It took them about 4 minutes to come in, pull the tools out, get the cord, put the tools back in, and get back to work. So I said, okay, we've identified the problem. We've identified that waste. Now, how do you guys want to fix it? So what they decided to do is they built a cord rack system at the front of the Connex that, one, clearly separates the different length of cords, and they also established a color code for each one of those lengths of cords. So now our 100-foot cords are yellow, our 50-footers are red, and anything less than 50-foot is green. So now the guys have established a visual cue. When they come into the Connex, they come in, grab the cord they want, and they can get right back out to work. We kind of did a mock-up the same way we did when we were identifying our waste, and it took them about 10 seconds to walk in the door, grab the cord they want, excuse me, and get back out to work. So did a great job in identifying something that bugged them, identifying that waste, and creating a solution for that waste.
Joe, how much waste do you think was wasted if you average it for 3 trips a day?
Yeah, we thought about that. We figured, okay, well, let's take 3 trips a day at 4 minutes. That's 12 minutes a day. I think that came out to 60 minutes a week if you worked a 5-day work week, which came out to about 52 hours a year of wasted time with coming in, pulling the tools out, digging around, finding that cord, and then putting all the tools back so you can get back to work. So,
it's amazing how much just small little things like that create so much waste.
One little change saved us a lot of time.
Thanks, Joe.
Yep, thank you.
That's really good. I love it. I love it. It's easy to remember too, because Toyota talks about safety, quality, delivery, or productivity, cost, and then human resource. So safety, quality are first and second anyway. All right, you're back, Paul.
Okay, so we take everything and we kind of make it simpler for us so we can remember it. We kind of strip away all the technical language and we just simply do it with safety, quality, simplicity, and speed. So you look at this improvement that Joe's made. Is it safer? So first of all, number one is Joe learned the concept of fixing what bugs you and making small 2-second improvements. That's the basis. But then he had to evaluate whether or not the 2-second improvement or the fix what bugs you was really qualified as a true improvement. So is it safer? I would say absolutely it's safer to not have to reach into a job box where everything's all tangled up and you could jam your hand and everything like that. Not a big safety issue, but maybe a little bit safer. But let's just say it's not even safer. Let's just take that out of there. Does it improve the quality of the work that Joe and his team are doing? I'd say absolutely. They're a lot less frustrated. They're not going back pissed off because they can't find what they want, so they can focus more on delivering to the customer what they want in a timely fashion. So I think you could make a reasonably good argument that the quality of the work has been improved as a result of this improvement. But let's just say you can't, okay? Let's just say it doesn't meet those 2 criteria. I think it does, but let's say it doesn't. Is it simpler to get the extension cord with the color-coded system with them hanging up on the rack as opposed to digging in a job box? Absolutely, it's simpler. It's way simpler. So he's met that criteria. Now, is it faster? Absolutely. So Joe met unequivocally 2 of the criteria for fixing what bugs you and making a real improvement. And it was so simple. Now, Joe didn't have to fight with his coworkers on, I want it color-coded, I don't want it color-coded. Hey, it's faster and simpler. When you come up with a way that's faster, simpler, improves the quality and safety that's better than this idea, then we're going to make that improvement as well. but we don't make those improvements until we can qualify them based on this. Now let's go to the next video, because this was just sent to me by Fernando. Now Fernando is an incredible lean thinker. He sends me one video every day. The guy is off the charts good. He's a construction guy, and he's always thinking about waste. Here we go.
Hey Paul, I want to show you what the idea that I had this morning. I was reading my blueprints on the floor, and it's very hard to be moving around the rooms because I'm checking all the door openings. So the idea that I have is this one. Look, I get a hand truck, Home Depot. I put this and it's easier for me to use the blueprints at this side on the floor. When I'm done with this one, I'll just move to the next one. And very efficient way to do that.
Well, I think this guy's so productive, he doesn't allow anybody to just stop working because he's video recording. Okay, Paul, I think you're back in 2 seconds.
I mean, this guy's incredible. I mean,
Yeah.
he's non-stop coming up with great ideas. And the irony of it is he came up with a way to manage the extension cord that's even better than the first one. And the first one's fantastic. I didn't even show his way of managing extension cords, but it's crazy good. The bottom line is, let's go through the criteria. Is this a safer solution to reading blueprints? I would say, yeah, he's not going to pull his back out as easy, getting up and down all the time, right? I mean, when you get a little older, that back could get kinked out from a quick rise up. You could make a case for it, but let's say it's not even a safety issue. Is it a better quality experience? I think absolutely. If the plans are right in front of him and he's not having to struggle to see the door openings and do the evaluation and checks that he needs to, he's going to do a much more conscientious job than getting down on his hands and knees and struggling and squinting and not being able to see the information and possibly making a mistake. So I think emphatically he has improved the quality of the experience as a result of this improvement. Is it simpler? It's way simpler to read the prints on something that's mobile and moves around than it is to be down on the floor and up and down all the time. And is it faster? Absolutely it's faster. Meets the criteria for an improvement. So if somebody wants to argue with him and say, hey, you know what, Fernando, I'd rather read them on the floor, we would simply say in our environment, we would say, look, it's not faster to read it on the floor. It's not simpler. It's not safer, and it doesn't improve the quality. We're going to read it on Fernando's stand. And until we come up with a better way to do it, that's the way we're going to do it. It's that simple. There's no argument. And when you make that criteria simple and easy for everyone to understand, all of a sudden you eliminate all the pride issue that goes along with people's improvements. And that's what we've done here. And that's why we have so many improvements, thousands of them, nonstop happening, because we've made the criteria simple. Next one. This is my favorite one now. All of them are fantastic, but this one screams at a quality improvement. This is such a powerful improvement. I just think to myself, man, these people are so good. And this comes from one of my favorite companies, Walters & Wolff. And Walters & Wolff is crazy, ridiculously good. Thousands of videos in under 1 year they've made. Notice all this is being transmitted through videos, which is a very effective way to communicate, and it's what we teach here. But this one is rock and roll good.
Hi, this is Chris with my video. This is the gate to our Shop B facility, and often we have to direct drivers to make deliveries there. And when we do, they get very confused. They're not quite sure which direction we're talking about because there isn't any signage. We'd like for them to go through this gate and make our deliveries to Shop B in the back, but often they end up at our precast gate, our sister company's gate, trying to make the delivery, which is really bad. That gives us the cost and the waste of waiting and transportation. So Dan Avina helped us by coordinating some signs that are painted on our driveway with the directional arrows, and also a standing sign at the driveway pointing the right way. And then Sherwin Bernal wrote this program on our multicam to make this sign that we could attach to the fence for a very clear sign on how to get there. Drivers love it. No more confusion. Thanks all.
All right, Paul, you're back in about 3 seconds. I saw this video. It was just amazing. And you think this happens everywhere, absolutely everywhere.
It's nonstop all over the world. And think about all the waste. Think about all the frustration. How are you going to feel as a truck driver when what you want to do is feel good about your job, getting the product there safely, not damaged, instead of hunting around with an 18-foot trailer behind you, struggling to try to figure out where you're supposed to go because nobody ever made it easy for you, never thought about it. So here we've increased the safety emphatically. He has less of a chance of backing into something and making a wrong turn or getting in a tight position because he knows exactly where the delivery is supposed to go, right? So the safety is absolutely emphatic. The quality of the experience, hey, you could make a case that he's going to get the product there in a more timely fashion. The product's going to be delivered in a more fluent way for the customer. Yeah, the quality could be, you could construe that there's a quality component there. Definitely it's simpler. Gosh, it's so much simpler. Hey, deliver it to gate B, and there's a gigantic sign on the fence and on the asphalt. You can't screw that up. And is it faster? It's absolutely faster. Now, we're at 20 minutes right now. We're at 22 minutes since we started this, and I'm going to buzz through this because I want to keep everything I do very pithy and to the point. But one of the last ways we're going to look at evaluating an improvement is by looking at a urinal. Now, I do this deliberately to be funny. Hopefully you guys are all laughing right now, and the girls maybe are holding your nose saying this is disgusting, but I think the point will be very clear when you see what I'm going to talk about here. So the problem is we want to keep the stuff inside the urinal, but unfortunately in a men's bathroom, they're not always the cleanest place. So over the years, engineers and designers have come up with all different kinds of configurations of urinals to make sure that it's contained as best as possible. And they've come up with a lot of ridiculous ideas. This particular one won awards, and everybody thought this was like the ultimate urinal for a guy. And 95% of the people said this new design was practical and useful. But guess what? We had an economist in Denmark, I believe, that came up with a better idea, and here's his idea. Very simple. So basically what he did is he etched a black housefly onto the urinal right where he wanted the pee to go. I hate to say it, it's that simple. He didn't make it bigger. He didn't put fancy flanges on it. He didn't make it elongated. He didn't do anything. He took a small, simple toilet, put a fly on it, and that basically eliminated all the spillage, just like that. Because lean is simple. When you make it complicated, you're gonna kill all the energy. So you give a man a target and you'll succeed. It was that simple. Did it improve safety? Absolutely. There's less splatter. Is it a more quality experience? Absolutely. The bathroom's cleaner. Is it simpler than all the other approaches? Absolutely, it's simpler. Is it faster? Absolutely. It's way faster to keep the bathroom clean under this model than all the other models. This met all four criteria of how to make an improvement. So there is the takeaway today. You can ask me some questions, but it's really that simple. Put that out in front of your people on everything they do. Safety, quality, simplicity, and speed. Those are the four criteria.
Oh, that was unbelievable. Great job. And you kept you were 2 minutes over, which is just fabulous. Okay, let's start with Demetrios, Peter DePorter, Larry Miller. Any questions from our panelists, and then I'll open it up to the entire group. Okay, here comes the entire group, Paul. They're all in here. Anybody want to take yourself off mute, go ahead, ask Paul a question. Let's keep it live, spontaneous. He's got 20 minutes. One.
This is my favorite part of the webinar.
Yeah, 10, 9, 8, 7. Come on, somebody take the risk.
You know why nobody's saying anything, George? Because it's so simple. There aren't any questions.
They're laughing at the fly. You know, that fly kills me. It's so easy, and it's annoying.
It's so simple.
That you're so manipulated as a human being that a fly could actually get you to do something your wife can't.
Yeah. Pretty amazing, isn't it? Pretty amazing.
Let me look at the list here. Do you worry about single factory experiments? That's one question from Rick Fleming.
I don't understand the question. So,
Rick, take yourself off mute, please. Ask the question.
I think, in essence, what he's asking, George, is do we have to do this big complex experiment across all different venues to really determine what the right approach is? And my response is no, because if you're making small little improvements the way I'm suggesting that you do lean, you're not making anything catastrophic, and the improvements are small, and if you have to go back and change them, it's no big deal. The important thing is that you're creating a learning culture that is experimenting and creating improvement. This morning, when we were walking around and Ron was interviewing our people, one of the girls had only been here for 3 weeks, and she said, it's crazy. I've only worked here for 3 weeks, and now when I go home, I'm constantly fixing what bugs me. I'm constantly making improvements, where before I never even thought that way in my life, because I've been trained to actually take action. In any other job that I worked in, if I saw a problem, I might complain about it, but nothing ever got done, or rarely, if it did get done, it would take forever to get it done. But here, everything's like right now, and we learn so much from right now. So I don't worry about having a big elaborate experiment that crosses every possible factory floor and considers every last little thing. I mean, if you have time to do that, go knock yourself out. It's just not the way we do lean.
But Paul, I got to say, after your first webinar that you did with me, I was embarrassed because I went out and I made an improvement to my house that's been bugging me for about 4 years. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to record it, Paul, but I was so ashamed that it took 4 years to do it. I'll bring it up here. I won't even give you the example. I'm still embarrassed. So how do you deal with people recording these little improvements and having that shame about the process of, hey, I'm a dummy?
I'm going to tell you, that is the great crossing of a lean thinker. When you, as an individual, can make yourself vulnerable and show your stupidity and show that you have opened the floodgates to more improvements than you ever dreamed of in your life. One of my favorite videos that I did is Reforming Little Pigs, where I poke fun at my own garage. Paul Akers, the lean thinker, the author. I take you into my garage and I show you my total pigsty of what I had, and then I show you the improvement. When you make yourself vulnerable, you're really going to go to a whole nother level. If you think you got to be perfect, you'll never get this.
Wow. Thank you, Paul. And this is like a little bit of a virus. As soon as it catches on, that's it. You can't give up.
You can't give up. It goes crazy. No. It goes crazy.
I love it. Okay, let's open it up. Larry Miller, Peter DePorter, Dimitri, anybody, take yourself off mute, ask Paul a question.
Paul, how do you get your people, how do you find the time or get your people to find the time to make the improvement? That's always seems to be a problem. Everybody talks about don't have time.
Yeah, well, again, we understand something very important about life. And greatness is guaranteed for those people who are deliberate. We understand that being deliberate about improvement on a daily basis will reserve us a place in history, will allow us to experience greatness. So we never wrestle with the time equation, because we know the time that we invest in these improvements every morning before we ever work. Remember, we 3S, sweep, sort, standardize, make an improvement, have a half-hour morning meeting with our entire company, and then work. We know that that discipline, that kata, that routine guarantees us a place in history in the greatness category. So we don't even wrestle with that equation. We don't have time. We have time for greatness, and so we are disciplined about improvement. Did I answer your question?
You sure did. That was great.
All right, open it up. Keep on interrupting each other with questions.
Paul, can cost be added to this list of criteria?
Sure, absolutely. And here's the important thing. Was it Peter that was asking the question?
Yes.
This is how FastCap does it. You don't have to do it the way we do it. You can modify it to work for what you think is important. We don't consider cost a lot. It's very, very low on the totem pole. Everything for us is about quality. So the experience, if you were to look, Peter, at us spending $2,000 a day educating our people, that's what we spend every morning in our morning meeting. It costs us $2,000. I just write a check for $2,000 to educate our people for the last 7 years. Most people would say that's a ridiculous amount of money. But then when you look at the big picture, that we have a whole group of people that are highly engaged, making all these improvements, and we created this climate where people are engaged, happy, are upbeat when they walk in the door, it's hard to put a real monetary value on that. What would you pay for that, right? Well, we're willing to pay $2,000 a day to educate our people in exchange for that. So we don't make cost the driver. Certainly, we have to consider it, but it is not the single driver. We say that at FastCap, we make very good money. We're a very, very, very successful company. But it's not because we focus on profit. We focus on quality and building human beings. And the result is we make a lot of money.
Amen.
Sounds very good.
Yeah,
you.
very good. Thank you, Peter. Anybody else?
Any suggestions on how you would get senior management or management on board with the thought process?
Well, the best way, for sure, and was that Rick that was asking the question? Is that correct, Rick?
Yeah.
So, Rick, the best way is, I heard one speaker one time say, a very seasoned older gentleman from Japan, he said, I'm going to tell you the top 3 ways that you build a lean culture. Number 1, you get the guy at the top fully engaged. Number 2, you get the guy at the top fully engaged. Number 3, you get the guy at the top fully engaged. Period. If you want to build a dynamic culture, then you need to get the person calling the shots fully engaged. If you don't, it's going to be a struggle. It's not impossible, but it's rare that you'll ever achieve greatness. As long as that person at the top wants to delegate lean and doesn't understand the power that it will deliver to his organization or to their organization, you'll never have the dynamic company with the dunamos, to use a Greek word, the dynamite that you want.
I like that.
What was that?
I said I like that. The question is how much, so the struggle is actually getting that top person engaged.
Well, here's what I tell people. It's very simple, Rick. So, and this is really what's happened in my life. If you become a fanatic about lean, like I'm a fanatic about lean, you will then be promoted within your organization. And I guarantee, unequivocally, because I see it happen over and over and over again, you will be running that organization or some organization. Because when you become a dynamic lean thinker, it is inevitable. It would go against the laws of nature for you not to be promoted to a position of influence and importance, because there aren't that many people out there that get it at this level. There are very few people that can deliver the goods at this level. So I tell people, focus on yourself, continuously improve, become a maniac for the sphere of influence that you're responsible for. Do it at the highest level, and you will consistently be promoted until you become the number 1 person. That's what's happened in my life. That's all I've done.
Excellent.
Good
I
question.
don't have to say anything. Keep on going with the questions, guys. 7 more minutes.
I think maybe they got the meat of it. I think the meat of it's been turned up pretty good here.
I don't think silence is a bad thing. I think people need time to digest. If they don't have a question, that's wonderful.
I would just encourage everyone that's listening, keep lean simple. Don't make it complex. Resist every every time someone wants to make it complicated, every time someone wants to put a graph up on the board and do all these crazy measurement tools, which you can do, we have them. We don't have a lot of them, but we have them when they're appropriately applied. But that isn't how we measure. That's not how we build our lean culture. It's by simple, pithy concepts. We're going to 3S, not 5S. We're going to make one simple 2-second improvement every day. We're going to teach you the 4 criteria for making improvement. You're going to respect your neighbor by leaving everything better than you found it. You're always going to be thinking of the next day. You're going to take action immediately on every problem that faces you. You're not going to procrastinate and put anything off. These are the overriding principles that we run our company, that we build our lean culture on. And when you keep it this simple, there isn't a human being in the world that can't get this. And that's why people love the way we teach lean, is because everybody can understand it and get it. And that is the magic. Make it complicated so only a few people, a few eggheads can understand it. And you're never going to know this energy, this dunamos that I talk about, that's so powerful.
Listen, as long as when you said eggheads, you weren't talking about my end.
Yeah, well, I've got an egghead too, you know.
Hey, last question or two.
You know, I have one more comment I just want to make, and then if somebody wants a question. I remember when I went to Hawks, if you've read my book, you know, this all changed for me when I went to a company called Hawks in Japan. And I walked in, and the president of the company got me down on my hands and knees, and I had to scrub his floor and scrub his toilet. And then I saw them have a morning meeting. I saw them be stretching, and I saw how easy it was to understand all their processes because there were strong visual controls, and everything was just really clear. I think the overriding thing that happened to me at that moment is I said to myself, I can do this. I can do this kind of lean. I can get my head around this. I can support it. I can encourage it. I can nurture it. By keeping it simple, most people say, I can do this. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get the maximum number of people to say, I can do this.
Okay, here's a question from Shauna. Can you call these 2-second lean projects Kaizen events?
We don't. And, you know, I want to say this very loosely, so I don't want anyone to throw eggs at their computer screens or cuss me out or write me dirty emails or anything. We don't like Kaizen events. Not because Kaizen events don't yield a profitable result. We don't like them because it generally stops production and stops flow. It's interruptive and disruptive in nature. It isn't really follow the principle of evenness throughout an organization. And small improvements, daily continuous improvements do. It's every day a little bit builds to something significant. So we're not a proponent of Kaizen events. If you do Kaizen events, that's great. You do it. We're not a proponent of it. We don't tell people to do them. Do we have bigger projects that we do? Absolutely. But most of those bigger projects are done a little bit every day, and we just work through them. They could take us 6 months to actually facilitate and get the improvement all the way to the shop floor. Most of our improvements, though, are small incremental improvements, and it allows for immediate success, results that can be measured, results that can be changed if they don't work. And it's just a very effective way to implement lean or Kaizen, in our opinion. Everything is in my opinion and in the experience that we've had after doing this for 14 years. So I'm not the end-all be-all. I'm only telling you what works for us.
Hey, Paul, do you set like annual BHAG goals for the team?
Paul, did you get the question?
Yeah, Paul, do you set really big goals or objectives for the year for your company that people got to achieve?
Say it one more time.
Do you set really big stretch goals for the company annually from a strategic standpoint?
No, we don't. We set mild stretch goals, and I know that probably goes against some of the teachings that have been propagated out there, and I'll tell you where I'm coming from on that, Rick. You know, we have a CFO. Imagine we have a pretty decent-sized company. We're in 40 countries, 2,700 distributors around the world. I mean, we're shipping millions of dollars worth of product, right? We have our CFO that's only here 1 week a month. Could you imagine? Most companies would have, you know, maybe a couple different financial people. We have a guy that's here only 1 week a month. And he is always astounded by our results. He goes, I've never seen a company that does what you're doing. It's crazy. And the reason why, Rick, is rather than worrying about the stretch goals, we worry about the process goals. All we do every day is just come in here and say, how can we improve the processes that we're doing? How do we engage our customers at a higher level? How do we solve our customers' problems more quickly and more efficiently? How do we treat our customers with more respect? How do we improve the processes so when our customers engage us, it's an incredible experience? All we do is focus on improvement relentlessly. And it seems like everything else keeps taking care of itself. Our sales keep going up. Our productivity keeps going up. Our labor rates come down. Our profitability goes up. It's just like we don't worry about any of that stuff. We just relentlessly improve. That's what we do.
I want to be in your world, Paul.
It's a fun world.
Here's a question from Bruce. Bruce says, safety and quality aside, if things are being more simple, aren't they by, cause and effect automatically? Aren't they faster then if it's simpler?
Well, not always, but most of the time, that is the result. But not always. Put it this way. You would think that, again, in the lean world, that everything's about speed and efficiency. It's not. That's not the way we think about it. We just want things to be fun and easy and enjoyable, so we have emotional energy of our people engaged in the process. So not always, but often that is the result.
Okay, there was a question on how do you structure the training for your organization, but I think you answered that in our first webinar. If you want to do it again, Greg.
Yeah, well, it's real simple. We train every day. We train every day in our morning meeting. We're training all day long. My whole goal is I'm the chief culture officer here. I may be the president of the company, but I'm the chief culture officer. Every moment that I'm breathing, I'm working with someone to bring them to the next level. That is my focus. I used to worry about, what the sales numbers are, how we're going to be in another 5 countries by the end of the year. I don't worry about any of that stuff anymore. That's all total nonsense. I worry about teaching and training my people and building a powerful culture, and it doesn't matter what happens, we just keep rising to the next level. The opportunities keep blooming for us everywhere. Everybody wants to be engaged with our company. Why? Because we're operationally excellent comparatively. Not really, because compared to Toyota, we're a total joke. But comparatively to most companies, we're operating at such a high level that everybody wants to go, I want to do business with FastCap. I want to buy FastCap's products. I love what FastCap is doing, right? We don't have to worry about all that stuff. We took a marketing budget back when we first started doing lean. We took a marketing budget of $500,000 a year and basically obliterated it to like $20,000 a year. We went from $500,000 to $20,000. Why? Because lean is our marketing tool. That's why.
Awesome. Okay, somebody asked about your email address. I put it in under chat, but it's paul@fastcap.com. You can also see the website here at www.2secondlean.com, and you could contact Paul through there. And also this video you can get from the online office. Go to leanleadership.guru, click to log into the online office and request a 7-day trial, and you'll be able to download this video. And I think, Paul, we're going to create a good one and put it on YouTube as well. So it'll be available on YouTube, and I can email the whole group. Okay. Okay, any last question from anybody, and then we're off. Thank you very much.
Hi, George. Hi, Paul. This is Dan. One of the great ideas I learned a long time ago is take a person somewhere else in your organization and drop them into the area that you're having a problem and let them come up with ideas. which everybody would think was crazy, and then all of a sudden you think, oh, those are the greatest ideas you never thought of.
Brilliant. Dan, I couldn't agree with you more. And that's why we have this collaborative culture here where we actually invite people to come from total different departments to come in and look at it. Whenever I come up with a new idea, I say, well, what do you guys think of this? Because I know that their eyes are going to see something I don't see. So that is fabulous, and I couldn't agree with you more.
Thank you very much, Paul. You're the best. I can't wait till next month. What is it, September next month? Unbelievable.
Yeah, so just so everyone knows, George, I'm going to Mount Everest Base Camp and Kilimanjaro on one expedition, so I've got a crazy schedule, and I'm leaving on the 15th of September, so I'm going to be out of the loop for a good 6-7 weeks there. So
wow,
it's going to be a little quiet.
I don't know how you're going to bring that backpack with the internet connection so that we can get you.
I'm taking the computer. If I can get good Wi-Fi in one of those kiosks at Everest, I think that would be a very cool webinar, wouldn't it?
We'll do a recording. Awesome. Thank you, Paul. Maybe October. Have a good one.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Take care.